All right, Ultimate Oops Nation. I'm Aaron Wimsett. This is Sonny and Aaron. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly playoff edition. Last game going on right now. As far as the night goes, they're all kind of been blowouts. We got a 19-point game behind us, and you know our last game, first big smash, was probably the closest. You guys ended up winning by like 8. So
yeah, that was a tough battle. We started out cold. Glenn and Greg coming from St. Louis Park. Deflated after losing over there to Rip City. So then you got them coming up upset and tired on the drive. So it's a tough recoup, but we pulled it out at the end.
Let's talk about Open real quick. Let's see if we can get them to watch. So who do you have over there? Because I have Rip City to win it all. That's
let's see. Rip City is tough with adding Kurt because any given night you don't know who's gonna three-headed threat with Femi. Yeah. So I mean, I like the Wolves with their chemistry. The Bulls without Paris, it's tough.
They still have a good team though.
It's just tough because when it comes down to the Final Four and the championship, the offense goes through one guy, and that guy's not there. So it's tough. Brinsley and them, they'll carry them through the beginning of the playoffs, but that's like the Wolves finally getting broke through in the playoffs with KG. No, I'm talking about the NBA Timberwolves. When we first got into the playoffs, that's like us getting out the first round without KG. When we had them, it's not gonna happen. So, I mean, I'll take the Wolves or Rip City. Just cause Peter and Kenny say I'm always against them, I'm gonna go with the Wolves.
Okay. On to the good this week. The Free Ballers advance. Tony Parker, who played I think 3 games this season, maybe even 2. He showed up for all 3 playoff games so far. He's averaging 30 points a game. I think he's averaging 12, I don't know, somewhere up. He's averaging double-digit rebounds. He's dominating the playoffs. Your thoughts on him and the Free Ballers?
His stats look like he's playing at the MAC right now. And, I mean, the thing about it is the rest of his teammates take the bad shots. I mean, he's got Jake Thompson, who's got range to pull up from the white line, and he's taking those shots. Billy's taking those tougher shots, and then when it comes down to him, everything's efficient. Inside, mid-range, it's never really a dumb shot, and shows with shooting 70% on a given night, averaging 30 points through 3 games, and seeing the definite difference compared to the Free Ballers in the season and now with them showing up in the playoffs, because they started out 3-0. So I remember they were predicted to beat the Celtics in Week 4, but I think that's when he stopped showing up, and we didn't see him since then.
So I know he wasn't an MVP candidate because he didn't show up for 6 games. But is he the best player in rec right now? And is he enough to carry the Free Ballers to the championship?
I wouldn't say he's enough to carry him, but it helps with the fact that the Nets game, the way it's looking right now, the Gorillas are going to see the Free Ballers, and that pulls Billy off of the Gorillas. So we'll see. That's tough because, I mean, I would imagine that the matchup would be Anthony Parker versus Chris, and he's stronger than Chris. And then you take Billy from guarding probably the second best player to now guarding probably either Brian or Noe. That's tough.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
The game will come down to Zip versus Izzy.
Yeah, see if Izzy can coerce him into playing with the Gorillas, pay him or something. We'll see. So I think Reed and Izzy touched on it last night, and we'll touch on it in the bad. But the low seeds did well They did well this playoff.
Okay, so I disagree with Izzy. Like I understand he has some good points, and we all hate him for his sarcastic attitude and everything towards it. But he has good points, but as a league, I believe it's good. Like, we should be ranking the teams based on their record, no matter what league. Obviously, they played crappier teams. We balance it out with who's got a better win. It should be ranked by the record, just like NCAA. You take a 20-0 team, they may be in the weakest conference in college, but they have a top bid. That's why March Madness is so good, because there's an upset on any given night. You want those surprise teams like the Pigeons, who had the 6th seed and were predicted to lose the first night, second night, and they get through, but then they got blasted tonight. But you want that in the team, so it's not like, oh, because my name says I'm a weak team and I get a weaker schedule and I go 6-2 and now I'm the 15 seed because my name sucks, so now I gotta beat the Gorillas to go on when I should be playing. I should get an extra game, because it's not about any given night. The best team's gonna win. The playoffs should be the better team should have to go have the harder road. That should be how it should be. I mean, you don't want it to. It's all about, for the players and their standpoint, it's all about getting that higher seed to prolong their season. It's $80 a season, so it's not about. Sometimes they don't come in expecting to win a championship, but if they can stretch their season to 9 games, 10 games, they're happy. That's satisfaction in their season. It may not be like, come in first game, oh, I went 7-1, but I beat the Squids, Players Club, pull that. It was like, and now I'm playing the Rebels game 1 because my schedule sucked. It's luck of the draw.
Yeah. So on to the bad. We just kind of covered most of it, but the high seeds did terrible. I agree with Izzy on that. The committee did a good job seeding the teams. I think we did do a good job seeding the teams. You know, we just had teams not showing up for full teams and forfeiting, and you name it. We'll talk about them in a second. But, yeah, high seeds, you let us down. I think I can't remember, actually, the last playoffs where we had. I think so the Elite 8 was the 1, the 9, the 13, the 12, the 15, the 10, the 19, and the 22nd. And I think the Gorillas are the only team in the top 10 that's going to advance to the Final Four. That's nuts. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, because Bulls South is.
Yeah, they're playing them right now.
Yeah.
So that's nuts. The Muskies. Team that, what, they're seed 6th, I think?
Yeah.
6th seed. They score. They play UOE&O, who had a bye due to Red Show forfeiting. I don't know who. I think it was maybe Kevin Chase goes, are we going to throw in somebody else in there? Because UOE&O were just giving the 22 seed a bye. And, I mean, we had discussed at the Players Committee that we're not going to do that. You can't do that. But UOE&O came out, and I think they won by 25 or so. But the Muskies, they only scored 37 points the whole game. They shot 28% from the field and 18% from three-point range.
It's tough. I mean, they took Trevor, and that's a given. This UNE-No was Trevor's team from the beginning. So you knew he was going to lose, but that's why when you take players that are going to be cross-match players, you need backups in that position. They may not have to be the best backup to where they're fighting for a clock, but it's at least somebody to where if they don't show up, they get hurt, playoffs, they go to their other team, you have a backup. And, I mean, it's a given. You need a backup point guard, somebody else that can dribble up the court, and you probably need a backup big man if you have one. So that's a given. You knew he was going to play where you know, and it was just a tough matchup.
Celtics and the Squires, both teams who had, I mean, they both had pretty good seasons. They both went 0-4 to end the season. What went wrong with both teams?
Celtics start off 5-0, and that's the bad part. I mean, I would rather start off the season with a loss, so you know you have to fight the whole season. You start off 5-0, especially when you're back. I mean, Celtics were here. I would say the second season of Fridley, when Fridley started off for UH. So going back then and just dominating this league, and then you come in first 5 games after taking a year off, and you start off 5-0, it's like, oh, whatever, we can still do whatever. And then now it proves that we can't just play how we used to play. So in Squires, I'll just say they're missing Hamill. So it was tough. That's another team. Jerry's their ball handler. The league's got better to where Meade can't run the point. He used to be their point guard. He can't run the point. Adams playing more off ball, and it was just a tough role for them. They couldn't get their shots to go consistently, and they got beat out in the season.
And for the Celtics, I mean, you guys need, come playoff time especially, you guys need Marcus Marshall to show up, and he didn't play last night.
Yeah, we have another attendance issue. I mean, we've always had people missing games, but it's no excuse.
So on to the ugly. Ridge Show forfeits. And like my gut feeling, just based off like their past seasons, I think last season they were good. They had a bigger roster. They showed up throughout the playoffs. They actually had a good run in the playoffs. But when we see the teams, if I had to pick one team that was going to forfeit, it was going to be a Ridge Show, and they ended up forfeiting. Just talk about forfeiting the playoff game.
I mean, it's back-to-back seasons, so Ridge Show, and then the season before was Rubio Tuesdays. I mean, I know Reed brought it up last night. I mean, you sign up on Wednesdays, and Ridge Show, there's players that's there every season, like Rablin, and I forgot who their point guard is. Yeah. And they've been there every season, but then you're pulling Peter Clark, who plays maybe one season a year. The other Riddlers that play, yeah, and they don't do 3 nights a week anymore. So things have changed, and even back then when the Riddlers were in, it was Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, Thursday. No oddball Tuesday thrown in there. So, I mean, given we don't want to seed and then have a forfeit and just throw a team in, I feel like it should be early enough to maybe 3rd week where we're going to say, hey, we're going to have this Tuesday, this is the playoff schedule, and you look at it and you say, all right, we're not going to make it. So in the seeding meeting, if we have them ranked, we slide everybody up and we take that team that's on the bubble, and say, hey, this team, I mean, obviously if the team says, hey, if we get the bye, we can play. If we don't get the bye, maybe give them an option like, hey, if you say you can make it on one time slot, even though you're not the top seed, to avoid a forfeit, we'll give it to you. But giving them enough time to make that decision so we can, I would say more teams the better. So.
Me too. So the 5-5 played the Rebels. 5-5 had Iron 5. Dustin, of course, played with the Rebels.
Okay. Dustin. I understand the loyalty to your Rebels. Pat wasn't there. Cody wasn't there. And given that Cody was the other guy that would have been like, all right, you play here, I'll play here, and you have 8 on 5, and you leave your brother high and dry, knowing that your brother's always in foul trouble. He's not an offense. He's not a threat. He's not a threat. I mean, come on, like you literally got there and was like, "Hey guys, it's kind of like 4.5 on 8 right now. Let's attack my brother because I know his faults." And like, you fouled him out. Like, what do you like? Not only do you leave him, like, you show up in the Rebels jersey, then you attack him and foul him out. So I say in that game with the Iron 5, you say, hey, I mean, Rebels has played together. You beat us. But I mean, I would take the game with 5-5, not an Iron 5 cakewalk. Like, you knew you come into that game knowing if I throw a Rebels jersey on, we win. I'd rather take the actual game, or even like I know Jensen's done it where he sat out. But I mean, for that, I would take playing with 5-5, knowing that you have Motska.
Just give him the extra guy.
Yeah, you have Motska, you have Jensen there, you have the big man mismatch, you have Eppel, Kloby, and Ferber. Like, what more of a mismatch do you need? Like, it was a field day.
I thought, from what I saw, I actually thought Jake did good. Yeah, he did fall out, but I thought he played a good game. Has there ever been a Rebel that played for two teams that didn't play with the Rebels?
Never take a Rebel in Fridley. Like, if you plan on going through the Rebels, you better have a backup. So Junius, next season, Dustin's your point guard. You need to find somebody else. Like you have Sam's little brother.
Yep.
You need a backup point guard for whoever. Like you know, if Fob plays against them, Anthony may be playing with them. Like, you need those situations to where if he's a key player on your team, you need to have somebody to step up in that spot. If it's Izzy, you'll take that. I'd rather play against Izzy because he's gonna be the one guy that you can guard on the other team. Right. So, but if he's your main guy, you need backup.
So it looks like the Gorillas are going to pull it off. So we'll have Gorillas, Rebels, Free Ballers, and Big Smash. Pretty good Final Four. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Any final thoughts?
Izzy's curse will kick in soon. He never wants to pick his team. So, I mean, it's tough. He's had Woes North, who we almost gave the game up to last night. You go, even though they're winning now, Bulls South, I believe this will be a completely different game if Chino would have started Ken Maxey. Because you have Helmy out there. Get Helmy in foul trouble. Then they have no big man. But then you got the Free Ballers so you lose Billy, another offensive threat that plays defense. So now you have James out there more, where James doesn't want to shoot. It's a tough road for Izzy. So if he gets this one, he earns it.
I don't think they've never been the one seed undefeated and finished. They've never won it. So
be 12-0.
It's good to be. We'll see if they can do it. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week after the championship.
For Arsenio, shout out to the Pigeons. Final Four, baby.
Pidge life.